Jay and Bay's attorney says Jaguar's allegations are demonstrably false, and Piers should never have allowed the claims to make it on the show, blasting Piers as an irresponsible so-called journalist. The interview in question aired last week, and on Tuesday Piers issued an on-air apology to Jay and Bay in the wake of Alex's ultimatum. Alex says Piers didn't just harm the Carters here, he also drowned out the voices of real victims.
This is the type of indictment you would expect from someone in the mafia.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is very eager to tell his story.
They're going to show that video over and over and over about what happens to women that won't change their stories.
His reputation is over.
The United States government, they start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
Last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as there's something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. We apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
This must have been shocking to you that somebody comes on a show and then kind of levels these vague-ish allegations. Were you kind of ready for something like this to eventually happen?
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly.
As you come on to the page, kindly hit the like bell and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as yet. And don't forget to put on your notification bell so you can be notified when I drop the next video. Thank you.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited that kind of random rumor mill, whether it's disconnected from reality or what have you, and lifted it up. And by doing that, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What he did effectively was to drown out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the process of making sure that it is taken down everywhere?
What I am here to say is that in a situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody in this way. And so that's the real reason for action.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something as they did here, they are sending a message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can? I've always believed that the truth will come out in courtrooms, and I'm sure the truth will come out here.
Beyonce and Jay-Z's attorney slams Piers Morgan over airing Diddy comparisons in interview. Beyonce and Jay-Z's legal team quickly responded to what they categorized as false claims made by Jaguar Wright during an interview on Piers Morgan's show Piers Morgan Uncensored. By Haley Santaflorentina. October 9, 2024, 3:34 p.m. TAGS. Beyonce and Jay-Z have gotten into formation to defend their character. In fact, the couple's attorney issued a scathing response to an interview Piers Morgan held on his show with Jaguar Wright, during which she claimed Beyonce and Jay-Z had more victims than Sean Diddy Combs, who was arrested last month on charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. There's rumors, and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, Alex Spiro told TMZ in an interview October 9. This is a formal and pointed accusation of something, which is why he gave Piers a legal ultimatum, asking that the interview be taken down. Remove that false accusation. That's demonstrably false, Alex explained of the offer, or a court's gonna order you to. And I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce, he said. As I noted in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves. But now they have. Their lawyer has contacted us to say those claims are totally false and have no basis in fact. And after noting the show's team has edited the interview accordingly, he continued, editing shows is not something we take lightly, but there are legal limits on us, too. We apologize to Jay-Z and Beyonce. News has reached out to reps for Jaguar but has not yet heard back. Beyonce and Jay-Z's attorney also spoke to, during his conversation with TMZ, why their legal team escalated their response to Piers the way they did. What changed in my mind, Alex explained, is that somebody, on a so-called journalistic platform, exploited that kind of random rumor mill and lifted it up. And by doing that, they not only caused harm, but they are also drowning out the voices of real victims. He continued, that was too much for me.
Jay-Z and Beyonce's legal team recently responded to claims made by Jaguar Wright during her interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Wright accused the couple of being monsters and alleged that they had numerous victims, echoing past accusations she has made. In reaction, Jay-Z and Beyonce's lawyers swiftly contacted Morgan, stating that Wright's claims were completely false and had no basis. As a result, Morgan issued an apology on air and agreed to remove the segment featuring Wright's allegations from the interview. Morgan explained that while his show usually refrains from editing interviews, the claims Wright made were too serious to ignore. He acknowledged that platforms like his must consider the potential harm caused by airing such falsehoods, even on a show branded as uncensored. After Jaguar Wright made allegations against Jay-Z and Beyonce, during her interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored, the legal teams of both artists took immediate action. Their lawyers contacted Morgan, stating that the claims Wright made were totally false and had no factual basis. In response, Morgan complied with their legal request and removed the defamatory portions from the broadcast. Morgan publicly apologized to Jay-Z and Beyonce, explaining that while his show is typically unedited, he acknowledged the need to avoid spreading falsehoods that could cause harm. Now, there is no confirmation that Beyonce and Jay-Z plan to sue Jaguar Wright. Their legal team has responded by requesting that the defamatory parts of Wright's interview be removed from Piers Morgan Uncensored, and Morgan complied with the request. While the couple has not filed a lawsuit, they have publicly refuted Wright's claims through their lawyers, labeling them as entirely false